minute, fellas. Look here. Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Jar Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the Power Band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Kev Vereen, along with my super companions, Head in a Jar Higo.
I'm going to give that intro a 2.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, I'm not even done yet. And C-Slab Forever.
Yo.
Welcome to the show, folks. That was my worst intro to date. This week, we're talking about finally, after a month of trying to do this movie, we are finally doing, is it called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse or just Across the Spider-Verse?
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
We're doing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, starring a bunch of people.
Spider-Man :
Yeah, exactly.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Verse. Let's get to it. High level.
High level.
I live.
High
Hey.
level.
I really like these movies. I liked the first movie. I love the art style. I love the idea. This one was good, but I feel like it suffered perhaps from what a lot of movie continuations suffer from. Maybe trying to cram too much into it or raise the stakes a little too high. Hard saying as the story isn't finished yet, as it were.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's very Empire Strikes Back-y, middle movie-ish. Yeah, I watched it a few weeks back and felt very similarly. I was like, it's very balls to the wall, dude. Like it's very kind of nonstop in terms of just like visual overload, which I liked. Like I enjoyed it, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
And felt very similarly. Like I was just honestly, I was kind of meh about it. And then I, started thinking about it and watching some shit about it and kind of getting more into the outside of the movie stuff, like YouTube-y shit. And there was some really smart stuff that I saw that kind of got me stoked. And then I rewatched it. I enjoyed it a lot more on the rewatch. So like I definitely was very tepid at first, but on the rewatch, it definitely went up to being pretty solid. I agree with you that they were trying to do a lot of stuff and the stakes had to be, universal, blah, blah, blah. Because the first one is I love it. I think it's the best Spider-Man movie. Like it's so good. And then, this one is not as good, but it's pretty solid and it's rewatchable, surprisingly, I guess. And I dug it. And there's a lot of complex shit going on in it that I think is like interesting, but maybe it's too much complex shit going on. So I kind of dig what you're saying too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just there's it's rather ambitious and it perhaps is in danger of being a little too all over the place with a bunch of different threads open and and like you said, it's an onslaught. It's just nonstop.
Yeah, it was balls to the wall.
There's not a lot of quiet moments in it. It's just pretty pedal to the metal.
Yeah, I found this to be okay. So I fired it up again today after work, not on the way home.
No.
And in watching the first 45 minutes of it again, I found it to be an overwhelming movie. In the sense of, a lot of what you guys just said. There's just so much information there. There's so much visual information to take in too. And I was, I don't know, I think able to really catch a lot more on the beginning of the second watch. So I'm glad that I did that. There were a few quiet moments actually that I was just like, oh man, this didn't really register before. I think there was too much going on. But there was a couple of quiet moments. I was like, wow, this is, like good, like touching, like
The building conversation when they're upside down, for example.
Yeah, well, yeah, that for example, yeah, I didn't get that far in, but I was just talking about like her talking to her dad when she takes her mask off, and there's a couple of them up just in the beginning, So I was like, okay, so it's not like this total Mach 5 crazy fest that I remember it. There's more there.
Gillette Mach 5?
Shreddy Krueger Mach 5, bro.
Yeah.
And total bacon speed too. That said, I really liked this a lot. This is like, even more than the first one, this is the most comic book in action, like moving comic book that I think I've ever seen. Like, hats off to Sony, man. Hats off to Sony for having the Spider-Man rights and not making a total just ridiculous mockery out of it, man. Like, I like the way that they worked with Marvel already on the movies, and this and the first one were just really, really good, man. This is really, really good. The story is a little busy, I guess, in terms of all the spider people and verses and all that, but I like well, I can get into that deeper later. I like some of the ideas in the story. It was a pretty good story. And visually, I've never seen anything quite like it. I think it tops the first one even, and it's like sort of just like, this is a comic book in action. Like, that's just what I kept thinking when I was watching it. I was like, this is so like a living comic book, like the kind of things you would see in your head almost as you were reading the panels. It's like really, really into that, man. I thought that was really cool. So anyway, I'll leave it at there for now.
A worderer.
Worderer. Where shall we go?
I don't really know how to tackle this fucking thing.
I don't know either, man. Ben, any thoughts?
Yeah. No, I don't have any thoughts. It's quite it's like one of those giant pub burgers you get, and you like pick it up and like, you're not quite sure where to start. And like, but once you start eating it, it's like such a mess that like you
can't put it down.
Really put it down.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're committed. So I think this is probably what that's going to be like.
I call those like the double pinky burgers, where you got to like have the pinkies on the bottom holding the thing kind of like in, You
got to fucking hold on for dear life, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much a pub burger of a movie. I think, I kind of feel like a light play-by-play might make sense, in the sense that it starts with Spider-Gwen, which I thought visually was interesting, and kind of like it focusing on another piece of the Spider-Verse, as well as she was kind of a minor character in the first one. Like, I kind of liked that she took a step forward, and her and Miles' dynamic in this movie was really enjoyable.
Yeah, it was. Let's do that. Let's do like a play-by and just kind of hit all the points on the way.
I feel like the play-by-play might just get us started. We don't need to like stick to the play-by-play, but
I think a play-by-play is actually safer, because that'll kind of let us hit the high points, and then we can kind of fill in the what we liked along the way.
Sure. As I feel like the Gwen stuff, like I just said, is interesting, and then I liked the obvious stuff of there being different artistic styles. Like, it's super watercolory, and like the color choices for her were cool, and like you said, the dad stuff was cool. So I don't know, the kind of
agreed.
Yeah, opening drum set, and he's not the only one over and over again, was kind of cool. So she's just I don't know, they fleshed her character out a lot here, and I love Haley Steinfeld. She's great, and I don't know. I think without the Gwen and Miles teen romance, that's not a romance, that's just angsty, and the fucking things up, and not having a friend, and all of the tragic pieces around all that stuff. It's the core of the film, obviously, and without it is just a generic bullshit movie, even if it has comic book in action style art, So it's the heart of it, and I like that they leaned into it for this one.
Yeah,
because you can get why Miles is crushing on her in the first one, but they like the fact that they leaned into it here was appropriate, And there were some really great moments of levity, like the Indian Spider-Man being like, "You guys are he's in love with you," and they're like, "Oh wait, no, what?" Like it's, I don't know. It's I like the little blooming of teen romance stuff here.
Yeah, creepy notebook drawings might have given it away
a little bit. I missed you too.
Yeah, right.
I love it though. Any opening sequency stuff?
I don't know. It was a very comic booky kind of opening, you know, especially Spidey. And he's kind of zipping around trying to like eat a Hot Pocket, stop a villain, and then get to the guidance counselor meeting, you know, with his parents breathing down his neck. It's, I don't know, you know, it was cool. I didn't really like it. Like, it was cool to find out that, you know, I don't know if I forgot this or what. I probably need to watch the first one again, but because that was like quite a while ago now. You know, that he created the Spot in the first one. Like, I don't know why I didn't get all of
The
that.
bagel
Or
guy.
maybe it wasn't revealed in the first one or not.
There was a scene
okay,
where
good.
they're escaping the lab and he chucks a bagel and it bonks off of a scientist's head, and that's Jason Schwartzman, it turns out. And so
Right.
the explosion of the particle accelerator creates Spot, but I don't think it's a part of the first one.
Right, but he was also supposed to get bitten by the spider. Did I understand that correctly?
Who? Schwartzman?
Schwartzman's character, yeah.
No, I think if I remember correctly, it was like he was working on a spider in Universe 42, and then it ended up in the wrong universe, Miles is, and then the spider bit Miles. So it was an unintentional thing.
Okay.
And the fact that Miles got bitten was, an accident and caused the disruption to all of the various timelines, I guess.
Oh, I didn't realize that it was Bot that was working on the spider.
Yeah, I didn't get
Then
all the way
again.
through it again yesterday, and it's been a week, but I don't know if it was Spot that was working on it, but it's definitely Spot that says that the spider was in the wrong place in the wrong universe. And I think it was implied that he was working on it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
Like, Spot reveals it in dialogue during a fight to the Spideys with Miles. But
I feel like the other Spideys were telling him that later in the movie, but whatever.
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Either way, I believe Spot and Schwartzman were not like a major part of the first one.
What's
No.
that, man?
No, they weren't. No, nothing.
The Spot stuff with Miles is after the Da Vinci Vulture fight sequence with Gwen. That was a pretty, I don't know, very action packed. Get an action scene in early in the movie kind of sequence, but it was interesting.
Yes.
I wasn't sure how I felt about the Da Vinci Vulture, but yeah.
I don't know exactly how I felt about that either. I was also trying to kind of check myself on thinking like that, like keeping everything in its proper column, meaning like, oh, well, I may not like this, but that doesn't mean it's terrible or bad for the movie or
No, I wasn't not like, fuck this movie because of the
I'm turning it off.
no,
by
but
any
we've
stretch,
certainly done
just-
things like that in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
Well,
Sure.
I mean, I reserve the right to not like a movie because of a Da Vinci Vulture. It's perfectly
Fucking
within my
man.
purview to do that.
Hell yeah.
It is your show.
You are welcome to have your opinion. Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Well, I hope
sometimes it
so.
falls
Yeah.
flat.
I just thought it was interesting. Like, I don't know if I didn't really give a lot of thought to whether I didn't really jive with it or not. I was so taken back by the so many styles of animation in this goddamn movie, man.
Yeah, I think at that point I was just like feeling like, okay, we're just gonna like kind of get right into shit here,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps wasn't quite ready for it.
Yeah. That's fair, dude. The
Yeah.
amount of pressure
Very.
to have that early action sequence is seemingly overwhelming for movies these days. So yeah, I totally jive with that. Like, sometimes you need to have that little slow burn.
Yeah, and just in general being, sort of the dearth of action movies that are out there right now. You're like, oh, man, come on. Can we just like have a, little more of a setup here? But it was fine. I'm not like, I'm not really complaining here. I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
it's been like 3 weeks since I've seen this, or perhaps longer even, maybe 4 weeks. I don't know. Anyways, I'm trying to suss out how I was feeling about it.
Yeah. It's almost like
right on.
it's almost like the current state of comic movies or superhero movies is that you like can't get away from that early action sequence structure. Like this, the people giving you the money won't let you. Like it seems like it just has to happen. Joker might be the only example of a movie that didn't have like a.
There's people out there that only consume 30-second ADD videos, and
Yeah, exactly. It's just the way of
There you
things
go.
these days.
if we don't do something immediately, we're going to lose them.
I mean, I was just about to say, like, you know, Joker kind of had a slow burn, but even it, like in the opening sequence, had like the foot chase with the fucking stolen, you know, Jesus Christ, have a strong, the laundry sign or whatever the dude was flipping around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, it has its purpose here. Like, it sets up the meeting of Miguel, Spider-Man 99, and like, I feel like the only way to win his respect is to be an ass kicker. So like, it had its place, and it sets the stage for the dad mask reveal, which was pretty heady shit.
Definitely.
You mean when he revealed his identity to his dad? You mean Miles?
When she does, when
yes,
yeah, when Gwen reveals herself, and he's just clearly so like it just breaks him as a police officer, and then just says like, you have the right to remain silent. Like, it's just really a heartbreaking moment, and then she's just like out, you know, she jumps in a portal and she's gone, you know, like potentially forever. Like, that's pretty hardcore, man. You know,
it is, man. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion.
And she's trying to get away, you know, run away from the reality of it and stuff. So this is,
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of heady shit running through this that I appreciate. I think it gives it a lot of its weight and connective tissue when it comes to it not just being a smorgasbord of different styles, you know? Like, the styles are very important, but the characters have some depth, which is kind of an interesting thing to say, considering almost all of the characters are Spider-Man. You know, like, they all have the same fucking story, and yet it's still compelling in its own way.
Well, it's cool that they were able to make it that way, considering that subject matter. You know what I mean?
You'd think you'd get bored. It's almost like a turbocharged watching 10 origin stories in a row kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. I think one of the things that I did like was the fact that we got to see all of these different spider creatures from all of these different, various different multiverse worlds. You know, this is wild,
great,
man. Trying to trying to visually keep up with all of them, man. You know.
I don't know if it must be real, but Peter Parked Car was I just fucking spit my Mountain Dew fucking turbo blast all over my screen or whatever, you know?
Yeah, Peter Parked Car. What about the fucking T-Rex with a giant
totally, man.
Spider-Man costume on was just so fun. I mean, just wild, you know?
So much funny shit.
Yeah.
Cool to see the various different spider costumes, you know? It's like to come up with like thousands of them, man. It's just, it's quite a task, and to really take the time to make each one, you know, kind of different and interesting, just even for that little teeny scene, really shows like a kind of love of the craft, you know?
Yeah, dude, there was some serious lore keeping
of the
it
material. Yeah, exactly, man. And I really like that. I think the movie is very rich in that sense. Like, it's very rich in its detail and world building, you know, because this is like its own little, I mean, even though this comes from like, you know, existing stories and lore already, or established character and so forth, it's like it's building its own little world here, you know, and it was really cool and impressive, man. Just based on the merit of that, you know, the various different characters, it was wild.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know? And cool to see 2099 as the sort of the leader of all that shit, you know?
Yeah, dude. 2099 came out when I was in like peak comic book nerdgasm days, so I was a huge fan of it back in the day.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Yeah, huge
yeah,
fan.
when 2099 came out, I just kind of was just like, that's not original Spider-Man, and it automatically sucks.
But I think that's it. Is like when it came out, I was probably like 14, you know.
Yeah, my time.
So it like fits with the 14, 15-year-old. Cool. Whereas like anyone who's beyond the 14-year-old nerdgasm days would just be like, whatever, you know. It just hit at the right time for me. All of the 2099 stuff was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like it just fine now. I just
sure.
I don't know. When it came out, I was just like, no,
didn't give a shit.
Too weird. What did you think of that, Ben?
It was beyond my time.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've said it a little bit here and there.
I wasn't really paying attention to comic books anymore at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I've said it a little bit here and there, but like I had a little cousin who was probably 4 or 5 years younger than me, and we were buds, and we'd like play video games together and whatever. And, you know, he'd be like, oh, dude, I'm so into fucking Darkwing Duck. And I'd just be like, fucking what, dude? You know, like, It's just like sometimes you miss a show by 3 or 4 years and you just don't give a shit. Like he was all into Power Rangers and I could give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's just a 5-year difference in age is such a huge difference in tastes and like what shows are out at that time or what comics are out at that time. So this one just happened to hit for me.
Especially when you're still, in low multiples of 5.
Yeah, exactly.
12, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The difference between a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old as far as taste.
It's pretty wild.
Substantial.
Definitely.
But to your point, Kev, it's like there's a million Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, whatever, and they treated it all well and they did well with the lore, but they didn't go too far on spending too much time with too many of them. You know, there were little quippy jokes, but at least they didn't like go super crazy with having a bunch of them being the main characters. It was just like a couple of them, like Hobie and Indian Peter Parker, Peter Prabarker, which is fucking hilarious. Like they were the focus as opposed to it being like, 20 of them being fucking getting little short bits of attention.
Or as Ben would say, cramming 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel like focusing on Hobie and Paviter and the motorcycle one, Jessica Drew, and 2099 Miguel O'Hara, like, and some of the old ones, like it is definitely getting a bit, overwhelming.
It was a lot,
but it wasn't like
it was a lot to track, and
no.
I found myself wishing that maybe they had done a few less and focused a little more energy on a few of them. But I mean, again, it's
yeah. I mean, the obvious one to cut would have been Paviter Prabarker because he's quirky and he's a set piece to the canon disruption stuff. But like, you could cut that whole thing out and focus that attention on maybe Hobie or whatever, Miguel or Jessica Drew. But like, I really loved the Indian sequence. Like, that was one of the highlights visually. And yeah. I
mean, if you're asking me, they could have cut Hobie, but
yeah.
I really liked. I don't know. I'm biased. Karen Sony's been in a few things that I really like. So,
I absolutely loved Karen Sony.
To see him in there.
I mean, he was great. I'm not saying I would like to cut it. And the reason I think I wasn't saying to cut Hobie is because Hobie, I think, as regardless of him being Spider-Punk, like Hobie is the one that has major story points with like creating the counterfeit watch and kind of disrupting the actual flow of things, whereas Paviter Prabarker is just kind of like there to have his canon disrupted and be funny. But I definitely loved the Indian sequence. I thought that was really cool, especially the like chai tea. What did you say? It's like saying TT. It's so good, dude. I really, really enjoyed that one.
Here's the traffic, and then over here is the traffic, and also over here is the traffic.
I love it.
Good stuff.
And I forget, Garitri or whatever. It's like, this is my teenage girlfriend, Garitri. And he sees the dad. Like, hello, commissioner, whatever. This is your daughter. I do not know her. He's just, Karen Sony is just so great. I mean, I didn't know who he was watching it and then was reminded of him in Deadpool. And yeah, he's just a really funny dude.
Oh, is he the cab driver in Deadpool?
I don't know if he's a cab driver. It's been a long time, but he's the driver with Deadpool in a couple of scenes.
I think that's the cab driver.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, he was like one of the like news. I don't want to say interns, but one of the employees that worked for Patrick Stewart in Blunt Truck. And he was
nice
there.
Like it.
He's just got a great quirkiness to his mannerisms in this one. Really funny. Just super charming, dude. Like, I don't know. He kind of embodied a little bit of the like playful boyishness of Peter Parker, that I liked. I like kind of super boyish, ridiculous, quippy Peter Parkers as opposed to the serious versions of Peter Parker and maybe some of the live action movies and stuff pre Tom Holland.
I also like, like Jake Johnson's sort of, vanilla our Peter Parker, that's like getting middle-aged and
dude, yeah.
It's still quippy, but not like, all that youthful exuberance.
His quippy what was up all night with his fucking baby, so he's kind of tired. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. and him having a kid was like also really funny. The fucking kid was hilarious.
And the kid being like super spider babied out, which was great, yeah.
I like the I like the Mumbattan bit because I just like cool, interesting what if worlds. You know,
Yeah.
I dug that. That's
Kinda
always
had
a big hook for me. Yeah.
What the fuck is the name of it? Corbin Dallas, multi-leveled city kind
Little
of thing
bit.
going on.
Yeah, it did.
I love me a multi-level
Well,
city.
the Mumbattan didn't, but like when they went to the
Mumbattan
headquarters of the
Mumbattan had like, when he falls into Mumbattan, it's like he's falling through like multiple raised street traffic zones, you know? It was like a mile high skyscraper-y kind of thing.
I don't remember that. I remember them when they all jump out the window at the end of the movie and they're in, you know, wherever the Time Society of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's in the
headquarters
2099 world.
is. That's when it's very much like Fifth Element. I immediately thought of that. Because like once they fall through, it's like they're in a complete darkness, you know, sort of old city underworld. I was like, wow, this is very Fifth Element, you know, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely get the sense that Mumbattan is like extremely bustling and like, you know, probably has like a population of like 1 billion or something.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's just like buildings on top of buildings and like just roads and, you know, on top of roads and just like.
Which is very in keeping. Like, it's been a long time since I did a trip through India, but it's a very, very fucking crowded place. Like, so having that layered city stuff was great.
Yeah, cool. Very cool stuff.
Did you guys have a chance to check out that random YouTube video I sent through?
No, I did not. No, sorry. So just even really for myself more than anything. So you've got the opening with the Spot and then Gwen and then the dad and then they don't immediately then there's a bunch of stuff that happens, like they kind of reunite Miles and Gwen and then they start flying through the various different worlds, correct? And that's when we get to Mumbattan. Am I remembering that correctly?
Gwen goes to see Miles and is hanging out in his bedroom, and Miles thinks it's to see him, but she's actually there to watch the Spot dude. And she's been told not to talk to Miles, but then they have that like conversation on the building, and they have a bit of a heart to heart, and then she gets in trouble, has to leave, and as she's about to nope out and never see him again, he sneaks in behind her into Mumbattan.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was, right? And then he saves the dad who wasn't supposed to be saved.
Who he shouldn't have done,
You know, right.
So like that scene, that whole sequence where the Gwen visiting Miles, like, it's just so charming. Like they're just like two teens. It's the equivalent of like you crushing on a girl in high school and then like getting to walk home from school with her and like just like having those types of talks. But it's the two spider people like flitting around the city, crushing on each other. It's just really enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's a really, I don't know. It's really just a nostalgic romp through like teenage crushes while also being like a visual feast, you know?
Yeah. That's a
not watching where they're going.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
all.
Yeah, no, I just you're right about all that. That was really well done. You know, I didn't really think about that much, but it was quite excellently done.
Yeah, they're trying to like dare each other to do crazy shit and having like a parkour race through the city, but then it settles down and they have that really cool, quiet, should we shouldn't we conversation on that building too. Like it just the pacing of it and stuff is just great.
Yeah, very much so.
One of the if you'll indulge me, one of the videos that I sent through, or one of the videos that was made by the guy that I sent something over, was talking about Gwen and like her ability to be in a relationship or be in love. And it was interesting in the sense that he said she has lost her Peter Parker in a tragic circumstance, and so she was forced to kind of like grow up as a result of that tragedy. And so she's like a 15, 16-year-old that's like aged a bit mature-wise, in her maturity, whereas Miles hasn't had that tragedy per se. Like he lost his uncle, but he hasn't lost his dad, the captain, yet. And it was just talking about how she is attracted to Miles because Miles is still like where she wishes she could be back before the tragedy, and she's like attracted to the kind of slightly younger innocence, and then he's into her because she's older and cooler, and it's like just that interesting kind of crushing on each other dynamic. And I thought that was an interesting point. It adds a kind of a new layer to the relationship where they're sitting on the building, and she says like in all the other worlds Gwen falls for Spider-Man, and so she's hesitant, and he's like, oh, there can always be a first, you know. So it's just there are two character dynamics that are really interesting in the like, it's the normal teenage crushing, but it's also the like one of them has gone through some shit and the other one not so much, and he's trying to find his feet and grow up and be, you know, a man or whatever. There's a lot going on.
Well, and it speaks to the quality of the writing.
Yeah.
You know, it really does. So, you know, hats off to the writers, because you're right. You're bringing up a lot of stuff there, that teen dynamic and all of that stuff that I never really thought of. You know, I'm just sort of watching it as it is. I didn't really put any thought into that sort of thing.
Yeah, same. I think that's where I, like, first watching it was the balls to the wall ride, and then watching some people talk about it a bit, and then watching it again definitely helped me enjoy it more the second time around.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think of Hobie? I really enjoyed Spider-Punk. I dug it.
Well, I want to respond by saying, like, I didn't, because we were talking about like all the different spider men, women, whatever earlier. And I think that I didn't have any problem with the core group of, like, you know, sort of spider multiverse fixer action team people. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like there was too many or too little or whatever. And I didn't feel like they did too much with the other Spider-Mens, you know, like in the headquarters in 2099. So your question was, how did you feel about Hobie? Like, I don't know, at this point, I'm like, you know, just kind of down to see whatever, man. You know, I love cool, interesting, different takes on things, you know. I like what if type stuff. So, like, seeing Spider-Punk was cool. Like, would I watch like a whole thing about Spider-Punk or read Spider-Punk issues if that was a thing? Probably not, because, you know, a punk Spider-Man is pretty cool, but using his guitar as his main weapon, like, I don't know. Not really.
It would get a bit one note, no pun intended.
Yeah, I'm not a bit one note, Chad.
Yeah, you like it?
Oh, man, very clever. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It wasn't just a total nothing of a character either. Like, you know, he contributed and the dialogue was there and all of that kind of thing. So, like, I thought it was good as a character, you know, for sure. You know, as one of the sort of team. That concludes my answer.
And thus. So you were mentioning that you would potentially cut that just for the sake of, if you had to cut something, you'd cut that. How did you feel about it in general, Benny? Did you give a
talk
shit
about that, Ben.
Spider-Punk, or was it just based on that, like, had to cut conversation?
I'm just generally anti-Spider-Punk. I just think it's kind of a silly idea. But that being said, the character was written well and portrayed excellently by, I'm gonna massacre his name,
That's
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, wasn't he in Black Panther? Wasn't he one of the Black Panther dudes?
I am
I think he was, yeah. I think he was one of the, like, chieftains or main,
yes,
one of the main warriors that's, like, fighting alongside the Black Panther family.
The Black Panther family.
Whatever they're called. What's the Black Panther guy's name?
T'Challa.
T'Challa. I don't know if it said that.
Okay.
Names, but...
All right. I remember him now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm looking at
Yeah.
literally looking it up on IMDb right now.
Put some
like, okay,
Wakandan mountain guy armor on him, and he's totally recognizable.
Right.
Oh shit.
Right. Like very, very sort of Highlanderish. The Highlanderish.
Yeah.
Dudes. Yeah.
Exactly.
That guy was he played Emily Blunt's partner in the excellent Sicario.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He
Oh, no
definitely
shit.
did. 100%, man. I remember that dude.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I
he had
love
a
that
lot.
movie,
He had a
dude.
lot. He had a lot a lot of screen time in that.
I gotta watch that one
What's
again,
that?
man. That's a great
Yeah,
flick.
it says it right there. Sicario, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on something for free right now. Not Tubby for free, unfortunately. But
Yeah, I don't know.
It's maybe a death, but I haven't seen it.
Again, I won't go into details because it's boring as batshit. Boring as Batman. There was a whole video that same dude put out on Hobie that was like, oh, wow, dude, there's a whole lot going on here that's worth checking out. I definitely feel like this dude's videos is like an art person at a gallery going on and on and on about the intent of the artist, and you're like, all right, bro, like, chill the fuck out. But it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I thought Daniel Kaluuya brought a lot of charm to the character, and, you know, it was a well-written character, but in general, like, what do you do with like the best possible version of a version of Spider-Man that you really don't give a fuck
Yeah,
about?
exactly.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. I don't know. I mean, it's sort of what I was saying was that, you know, like I was like, oh, cool. It's kind of like I was like, oh, cool, Spider-Punk. I'm never gonna watch that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like like what Ben said. Like, you know, well written, well acted. You know, that guy is a great actor, all that kind of thing. And I like what he contributed, but
Yeah.
you know, Spider-Punk in general is just kind of like, all right, yeah, that's pretty cool, but what's
Yeah.
next?
You're
You
dead
know?
right though. Like it's the cool Spider-Punk. Oh yeah, the writing's like Sex Pistols. Next. Like it's just immediately
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever.
And I find characters like Spider-Woman riding a motorcycle and shooting webs out of her fingertips way more interesting. You
Sure,
know what
sure.
I mean?
Sure, yeah, I'm always down for like a motorcycle like version.
I love
of
how she was
characters.
preggo too.
Fuck
That was
right,
great.
dude.
She was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I feel like that
great.
she and Miguel will probably have a bunch more going on in the next movie. She kind of was very second fiddle to Miguel here, but
Yeah.
it could be some interesting stuff. Like it was interesting that she,
Mm.
you know, she's drinking
Yeah.
the Kool-Aid at the end, where she's like, "Nah, you know, we need to do this," because it gets quite dark there with Miguel. Fucking,
Sure. Yeah,
you know, Spider Hitlering out.
Yeah. Yeah, a
It
little
does.
bit. Got a little dark there. Sure.
I mean, in the inverse of Spider-Punk being a whatever character, I really enjoyed the thinking and work that Schwartzman and the writers did for Spot. Like, I really dug Spot.
Well,
Spot was awesome.
totally. I mean, I would say that about. Go ahead, finish.
No, I was going to say I was really psyched that Schwartzman was
He's so good, man.
in there. For
His
that.
voice was
Yeah.
perfect for it.
Great choice. Agreed.
It
I think,
reminded me a bit of the douchebaggy nature of his character in Scott Pilgrim. Like, he just has the best, like, smarmy douchebag tone to his voice sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think all of those, the sort of the core group of characters, you know, Spot and like all the Spider people in the main group there, the incursion team or whatever, like it was all the dialogue was really excellent and the
Yeah,
writing
sure,
was
yeah.
excellent, you know, and the actors really did a great job with it, you know what I mean, and that was no exception.
Yeah.
You know,
I also just I like the concept of Spot with like the the portals and like that
Totally.
whole like bit in the convenience
Oh,
store
dude.
where he's like, and some of the fight scenes with him were just like like they're great because they're like it's cool and interesting and unique
Yeah.
way to do action,
New.
but it's also pretty comical.
Yeah.
yes,
Like the situations they end up with because of the spots. Like I don't know, it's just I found that to be
Yeah,
delightful.
totally.
yeah, and a nice bit of levity too, you know, I mean, like the movie,
Yes.
I mean, the movies, it has levity at times, but it's actually like a pretty heavy story, man, you know, like,
No doubt.
and that was
It is.
that's what I appreciated about it. It wasn't just like a la comic book, you know. It was like
Yeah.
it was pretty cerebral and intense, man, you know. And it was like they were really coming down on Miles pretty hard and basically just like, yeah, you were bit by the wrong spider. You really even shouldn't be here, bro. So we're gonna have to cancel you out, you know, zero you out. So it was nice having that little bit of levity with Spot for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought you were actually talking about the intensity of the Spot thing. There was a delightful death in there, by the way. But where
Oh yes,
Yes, I fell on my sword for that one.
the
you did
But
indeed.
as I was about to say it, I was like, no,
It
it's
is
appropriate.
appropriate.
I thought really
It
did
was
think
appropriate.
It was
Yes, it was.
I wasn't using it just because it was a word to say.
I thought you were talking about like the kind of darker elements of the Spot character, where like the thing I like about his character is he starts off as like a petty thief because he doesn't know how to survive as this new thing, and then he's like, dude, you did this to me, and it's just like him questioning himself and being all despondent and then finding his power, and then he's like, I'm gonna fuck your shit up, man. Like it's a really dark arc for Spot too.
Yeah,
It was.
for sure.
He gets the power and he's gonna go and kill Miles's family. Like, that was pretty intense, man. Fucking bagel dude, raising the stakes.
Bagel, dude.
Fucking bagel, dude.
A very astute person said that both this and Everything Everywhere revolve around a bagel, which I thought was quite funny. The multiverse movies about bagels.
Mm.
I mean, maybe it was a nod.
Maybe. I think like
Can't prove it, I guess.
I don't
but
really
maybe.
want to dive too deep into it, but like I'm getting a little bit of multiverse fatigue, although I will credit this with and Everything Everywhere with both being like ideated and written well before all of the multiverse bullshit. But just there
could be a little less of it.
it's getting a little bit tired, but I'm forgiving of it because they're doing
Could be a little
reasonably
less.
interesting stuff with it.
Wait,
Well,
what's
that's what they started with for this
Yeah,
franchise.
exactly.
So naturally, it's how it's going to play
Yeah.
out. I mean, I'd almost be down for like just a fucking regular old Spidey movie with Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking in the depths of like the complexity of this story and the stakes
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And I'm like, you know what, man, this is great and all, but I probably would have been fine with just like a fucking a Spider-Man movie with
The
Miles
normal
Morales,
one.
you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
And they kind of did that with the
Just a
first
normal
couple
one.
of Tom Holland ones, They kind of refreshed it, and like
Yeah.
the initial Vulture one was pretty traditional in the scope and scale, something along those lines.
Yeah.
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 And Michael Keaton.
Yeah, with
Hello.
Keaton, dude, love Keaton.
Right. I know that you guys, I'm sure you haven't seen it, but I watched the new Flash movie, dude, and it's just Michael Keaton. Seeing Michael Keaton as Batman is just freaking great in it.
No,
man.
yeah, I haven't seen it
Oh
yet.
my
Was the
God.
movie any good?
man?
I liked it. There was things people brought up that I was like, yeah, I could see that,
Sure.
But I mean, for the most part, it was, it was very much like this. It was like this kind of what if, like,
Yeah. Okay.
it was kind of had a lot of elements of the Flashpoint paradox, from nearly 10 years ago now. But just like multiverse, the Flash changing time with the Speed Force, like that kind of thing, and it had some good funny bits in it. And Michael Keaton's actually in a lot of the movie, which
really?
is it's great, man.
That's cool.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And you get to see, they kind of expound on his, Batman a little bit in the Batcave, and, same old Batmobile from the original movie, and
Fuck yeah.
all of that great stuff is there. Yeah, exactly. And the Batwing, which he flies a lot in the
Yeah,
movie.
sweet.
And,
Some
because
fan
it's
service for sure, but welcome.
this is actually way beyond fan service, man. I mean, it was, just like a sort of a
Fangasm.
multiverse story, and like not having Cavill Superman because Zod murders him, as when he's an infant, and it's his cousin that's
So it's
on Earth and trapped, and like, I mean, she plays Supergirl and she's just she's badass, dude. Just kicking ass, man. There's a great battle at the end. So yeah, I liked it, man. I'm definitely gonna watch it again for sure.
Nice.
I think Ezra Miller is kind of, I don't
Lost the
know.
plot a bit.
Yeah, he lost something. I mean, he's fine in the movie. I think his outside shenanigans of sort of,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, dude,
Yeah,
what's
it's
up, bro?
clearly troubled.
Yeah.
It's a good word for it.
Clearly troubled. So I discovered my new favorite Batman is Hank Venture as the Bat
Ooh, nice.
in the Venture Brothers movie that just came
Hell
out.
yeah.
Oh, there's what? Venture Brothers movie that
Amazing.
just came out?
Yeah.
See, Kev.
Yeah,
Kev's like,
they
all right, bye,
canceled-
guys.
They
Nope.
can't. Well, you should finish the series.
Okay.
Okay.
But they canceled the series, so because it's like a direct continuation,
Okay.
so you really kind of need to.
I
know
need to
what's
get
going
back into
on.
that.
God, why did the fuck did they
But,
cancel that? Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean, they canceled like a bunch of legacy Adult Swim cartoons, like Metalocalypse and
Yeah.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So all three of those franchises did like a
So long.
finish
movie.
up the story
Yeah.
feature length movie, and the
Okay.
movie was fucking great. But like Hank Venture is, something kind of traumatizing happens, so he leaves to like find himself.
Uh-huh.
But he's kind of like battling with all the different versions of himself. So there's the Bat,
Uh-huh.
like the fucking old Batman Halloween mask, fucking, cheesy costume. But he's
Yep,
like,
yep.
he talks like Christian Bale, He's like,
Where is it?
I like it. So he's like
You
the
know.
bad kid, yeah.
and he's got like the noir detective Hank and, like Russian Guyevich. And
Oh
like-
God, dude, the Russian
So-
Guyevich, yes.
So he's like, fucking like kind of like hanging out and writing and talking to himself, and all these different personalities are sort of like, talking to him. So it's like the Bat's there 1 minute talking to him, and then Russian Guyevich chimes in, and then
Russian Guyevich.
It's fucking so funny, man.
That's great. Wow.
I love me some Venture Brothers, dude.
Seriously, man.
Well worth your time, but definitely
Get
brush
caught
up
up
on the
first.
story before
Yeah,
you
fair
jump
enough.
into it, because otherwise, I mean, it's probably fine standalone.
You just miss
but
half of
I
it.
think you'll get.
I
a lot
feel
more
like
out of
it sounds a lot like Ahsoka, where it's like I haven't watched all the cartoons, so I'm probably missing half of the shit in the Ahsoka show. Probably similar kind of thing.
Yeah, probably.
But you were saying, Kev, I probably knew that, but I didn't think about it at the time that I made the comment about the multiverse. But Flash being a multiverse movie too. You were going to say something about multiverses before when I was griping about being kind of fatigued with multiverses. Do you recall what you were going to say there?
I do not, but I don't remember you saying that for some reason. There might have been too much noise between the three of us, but I will say that that was the one. Like, if I had one gripe, it's and this is an example of something I had to put aside because I did really enjoy the movie, but I am definitely all set with multiverse stories right now.
Yeah, dude.
It was such a cool concept for so long. Like, I remember reading about parallel worlds in a quantum psychology book that I was reading, like way back in like the 90s. And
yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
that was really hard to wrap my head around at the time. I could probably much more easily chew on that material now, but I thought it was really fascinating, man. And, as we've gotten little bits of that here and there, I was always a huge fan of what if type of stories, which are always, obviously kind of multiverse stories. And Man in the High Castle,
Dude,
that's a
love it.
great example of one, a really good one. But I just feel like at this moment, and Flashpoint Paradox, that was a cool story. I think Flashpoint Paradox was 10 years ago that kind of reset the DCU on the whole New 52 thing, direction that they were going. But again, 10 years ago, you know what I mean? And that was a cool and interesting story too. But like now I just feel like we've hit like this
Rock bottom.
the blanket is completely soaking wet with water. Like, it's saturated, man.
Yeah.
And everybody seems to be going to some multiverse kind of story. Now, like, I don't mind it in the sense that, I like how they kind of, I think it's cool to use it as a device to kind of tie together a bunch of movies that, are somewhat lacking continuity, like DC's kind of done. Like, that's pretty cool. And I like that, you can just be like, yeah, we're going to make a Joker movie. You know what I mean? It's like, here's, the Todd Phillips take on the Joker. Like, that's cool. And like, now we're, looking at the, Pattinson Batman movies, you know what I mean? It's like they don't really have anything to do with any of the other things going on, and I'm okay with that, and I like that. But again, I'm burned on multiverse stories.
Yeah, dude.
For sure.
Sure. I would almost say that you don't have to drag out a multiverse to try and tie the things that aren't tied together.
Sure.
Yeah, or even
I'm
tie them
fine
together.
with things existing in their own realm.
Their own silo.
Yeah, that was
But-
a poor example because that's really more of what's actually going on with the DC films. They're just kind of like, all right, these are the stories. Like, they're not connected and they don't need to be connected, and we're okay with that. Like, and I think fans are too, man.
The Doctor Strange shit is trying to tie it all together, for example.
Yeah, see, I'm not, and again, that's still like that. I'm not into that, really. I mean, this is, the Spider-Verse stuff is great, and that's the premise to begin with. So it's not like, and it's done well. And something like Everything Everywhere All at Once is like, it's just wacky and like out there and fucking hilarious and
philosophical.
I'm down with that too, Yeah, and also deep in a way, so.
Agree. I agree on it exactly what you just said. I think those movies
In general, I wish like Marvel hadn't started doing it.
Same. Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah, I think so too, man, because they kind of make it into like their own brand of that kind of ha vanilla thing.
And
I
dumb
think
as fuck too. Like, there was a dude that was quipping. He was like, "Oh, whoa, the fucking red means go and green means stop in your multiverse world, Doctor Strange. Cool." It's like, come on, guys, be a little more creative.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I found
red, stop, green,
we have
go, yellow, go very fast.
Exactly.
I didn't comment on this. I know we brought it up once in the past, but like, I finally watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and I was just like, it was just, yeah, like it was all right, but I was more interested seeing him in the Spider-Man movie. You know what I mean? Like it was just too much to choke down. Like I liked the way that they laid everything out in the first Doctor Strange movie, and I thought that was excellent. And
yeah, totally.
seeing him in subsequent Marvel films was a treat because it's Benedict Cumberbatch, and you know he's a really excellent actor and all of that kind of thing. But like that story, just I was like, ugh, God, no, too much. I'm all set. Whatever.
Story.
It was dumb.
Yeah, it just wasn't that good. You know, the Scarlet Witch thing, and I guess that it was like a tie-in with the show, like Ben, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't dig that.
It was fucking
I just
stupid.
didn't like it either, man.
That and the new Ant-Man, same.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
You still haven't watched Wakanda either. I re-listened.
I watched
to Ben's
Wakanda,
sort of
and
telling
I
of
agree
it
with
in
Benny's
our
comment
episode
about it being like too stupid and dark for the sake of being dark.
Yeah.
They're just fucking things out left and right over there. Was it?
Yeah,
did we
well,
talk
like,
about this recently? I guess.
Well, Chad, you and I, I think we both read the same quote. We were talking about it last week or the week before that
it stopped with Endgame.
Yeah, the
that's what I was
superhero
getting.
movies just ended with the end of Endgame, and
which is like
that.
it's totally bang on for me, at least. It's just
for me too. I couldn't agree more. Like everything that's come out since then is just too much.
And then I think that ties in with what Benny just said of like you can keep the shit separate. I feel like Endgame, 23 movie arc, all tied together. We don't need to tie it all together again. Let's just keep things separate. Gotta keep them separated, and just fucking I'm fine. I'm fine with just keeping things separated now.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, I could potentially end up getting interested in some Fantastic Four stuff or X-Men stuff, depending on
the new
how they
Avengers
approach it.
fucking formation or some shit. But
it depends on what they do with it, you know.
Yeah.
But in general, like they gotta start digging a little deeper because I think everybody's kind of tired of the formula, you know.
I'm totally down with Fantastic Four or X-Men. I really enjoyed the First Class X-Men series. I didn't watch the last one, but like I enjoyed the first couple of those.
First Class was great, and the second one was Days of Future Past is excellent, man.
Yeah, those are the two I've seen. I haven't seen the fucking stupid Game of Thrones chick one.
Game of Thrones.
The Phoenix one wasn't there? Like a Phoenix one, the new lame X-Men movie.
Thank you. That is now forever henceforth
Phoenix.
known as the new lame X-Men movie. Yeah, it was poor. First Class and the second one were great with the Quicksilver and the, just so good, man.
Yeah, man. That fucking Quicksilver time in a bottle.
Oh, so good.
Thing.
Right.
Just so good.
And those movies were great and not done by Marvel Studios, man. So, and not to say that Marvel Studios is terrible. Like, they're not. They made, 20 great movies in that whole first arc.
We said it in Endgame. Like, that was a feat.
Endgame. It was.
Yeah. But maybe it just doesn't need repeating. Yeah.
Well, they landed it great. It's just like, you got to come up with something different, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody's getting tired of it. And now it's like shows and this and that and the other thing. It's like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And the, oversaturation is real. It's just, there's only so much you can handle with something.
Agreed.
You can't fucking eat pizza. Delicious as pizza is, you can't fucking eat it 3 meals a day, every day.
You can't, Benny. You really can't.
You can't. I mean, you can, but you're not going to like it.
Yeah, you're going to hate it. And who wants to ruin pizza?
Exactly.
That's it, right? You want to ruin pizza?
No, I don't.
All right. Guess we got to get back on track here.
Yeah, we could circle the multiverse shit back in, I think.
No, yeah, it's a relevant conversation.
Totally.
That we had, I think, there. But I don't know, it's just one of those movies where it's like, it's big, it's a big scope, and it's kind of hard. Again, it's the fucking pub burger.
Yeah.
Like, I'm finding myself only being able to nibble at it today.
Fair enough.
Just to like maybe pick the bacon off of it and, some sesame seeds and maybe a pickle or two.
It's making me think of feeding my kids. Or I'm like, what do you want to eat for dinner? And they're like, cheeseburger. And you're like, okay. And you make a cheeseburger and you put it on the plate. And then like my daughter will take a bite out of the top of the bun. So there's this little teeny little bite taken off the bun. And she'll be like, I'm full. I'm like, just fucking, I'm going to throw you out the window.
Yep.
Sometimes it's an intimidating burger. This is a tasty burger.
Sometimes. I want to watch it again, but I kind of want to save the second watching for whenever the second half of this drops.
That's fair. I wonder when it's coming out. I'm curious if it's next year. I think it's next year.
Well, from what I understand, it's like pretty much ready to go.
Oh, it's all the striking shit
but
or something?
But the striking and shit is definitely putting it like everything is set up and ready to rock, but it's delayed because of the strikes. So,
yeah, okay.
As soon as that's over, they're going to get in and dial it up.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I was speaking of which, that was like kind of a major downer for me when because I had no idea that this was, and we never do this, but spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen this. It's the
cliffhanger.
Tune out now.
Fuck.
Massive fucking cliffhanger ending. And when that happened, I felt like I got kicked directly.
That was such
squarely
a tease
in the balls.
Oh my God. It was such a fucking tease, dude. I forgot actually.
I was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of was like, oh, great. Fucking all the strikes that are going on. Like, who knows if we'll even see this second.
Yeah, we're fucked.
We could get lost in production hell forever. Like, why the fuck would you do that to us?
Yeah.
And I just and it hurt extra bad because, again, spoiler alert for those who care, the second season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds was also a cliffhanger ending. And I had the same exact thought. So I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
I want my
Who does cliffhangers anymore?
Yeah.
Like, things are too volatile. Your show might get fucking canceled and then we'll never fucking see the end of it, you know?
That's it. Yeah. My first viewing of this, like, I tried to do it in one sitting and I started it a little bit late. And so, like, I think it was like, I can't remember the exact scene that I came back in on, but it was 2/3 of the way through the movie and a quiet moment, like after the India sequence. Maybe it was just after Miles gets himself home. You know how he runs away and gets, yeah, it was right after that. So it was like a huge crescendo in the movie. And I purposefully hadn't looked at, it's kind of like I don't keep the amount of pages left on my Kindle. So I don't know when the books end, because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because it allows me to guess the plot, And so, like, I didn't know how much of the movie was left. I closed my computer or whatever, and then the next day I opened it up. And, like, the whole vibe of the excitement and the balls to the wall was gone. So, like, my viewing of the second piece, the third act, was kind of, like, stunted, which I was like, fuck, I should have just kept watching it. And then, like, I sit down to watch it, and, like, 10 minutes into it, it was like, cliffhanger. I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a punch in the face, dude. I was so frustrated.
Totally, dude. Chrissy Snaps called it. I was like, she's like, how long is this movie?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to finish this. And I was like, no, they'll wrap it up. It'll be fine. That was like fucking 5 minutes later. It was like,
yeah,
to be continued.
Fuck. Yeah. That was some serious blue balls, dude.
Yeah, that definitely put a stank on the movie for me.
I get it.
And maybe that'll turn into like an Empire Strikes Back kind of a thing, in years forward when I'm remembering it differently and I'm not quite so in the moment. But
yeah, I mean, recently I was on a Reddit thread about Kill Bill. And it was like, oh, what order, what should I do? Should I watch Kill Bill back to back, or should I do this, or should I do that? And I was like, you should watch Kill Bill 1 and throw Kill Bill 2 out the fucking window because it sucks. And I got canceled so hard in that thread. Like, I got downvoted to fucking oblivion. And it was just like, I don't know, man. Like, back in the day, I was so pumped for Kill Bill, and I hadn't seen any of them. They weren't out yet. The first one wasn't out. And I remember reading that Tarantino decided to split it in two, and I was like, oh man, okay, that's risky, whatever. And to this day, like, I just don't give a fuck about the second part. And that doesn't mean the same thing's going to happen here, but like, I feel like Kill Bill could have been combined into one movie and it would have been better as a result or whatever. But I mean, this is some serious cliffhangery fucking blue balls, dude.
It's still my least favorite Tarantino series.
Sure.
What, Kill Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my current standing favorite Tarantino movie is Jackie Brown, but
really?
No, I said least favorite.
Yeah, no, and I just said my current favorite Tarantino is that. Yeah,
my least favorite is the fucking recent one where they just sit in a goddamn cabin in a snowstorm for 3 days.
I like that movie. That was good. Yeah,
I liked it.
I need to maybe redo
And
it. I was
also-
in a bad headspace for that one.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was excellent.
Yeah, I didn't really dig that one either.
Really good.
Yeah.
Didn't hate it. Just
Great
was like,
stuff.
Well,
Let me finish my thought.
Yeah,
Hang
go
on.
for it.
So,
Yeah.
the only thing I liked, or the thing I did like about the way they did the ending, was I was like, okay, they've got more story to tell, and they're not going to screw up this whole thing by jamming it,
Into the
cramming
last
it
10
into
minutes,
this
yeah.
2 hour and 20-minute window. It was a long movie.
yeah.
And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, Chad and I just did 2 freaking marathon movies back to back, both about water.
Poor Benny
you know?
had to listen
So-
to it.
Right. So, like, I think I'm glad that they
You guys
decided
are
to
fucking
do it like that.
masochists.
We went
Maybe
off
we
hard,
are.
dude.
I
I do like a twofer though.
I like that.
No,
Yeah.
I just a very brief interjection. I like a twofer where Benny's like, "Oh, I kind of made me want to watch the movie," but I feel like both of these, Benny was just like, "Fuck you guys" for the last 2 water themed movies. I hope that wasn't the case, but
You guys were like, oh, actually, Waterworld was pretty good. It was better. I was like, yeah, I fucking hate you guys.
same for Avatar, man. Oh, you poor bastard.
No surprise whatsoever.
The Avatar thing, I was like, wow, these guys both watched it. They both hate watched it, and then they both watched it again. The fucking show.
Oh man,
That's just self-torture right there.
it kind of was.
And enjoyed it. And enjoyed it the second time to a degree.
Ooh. Sorry, anyways.
No, it's all good.
Once
Once I got over the frustration, the blue balls of the cliffhanger, I agree, Kev. I'm glad they didn't cram the end of this into the last 10 minutes. You know, like I remember reading like
Right?
sometimes you'll read a book and it's clear that the last few chapters are the person has getting yelled at by their agent because they're over deadline and they just jam it all in. So I'm glad they didn't do that here, but
Yeah.
it was still some
but
blue
they
balls
covered
bullshit.
so much. They covered so much. I wonder what's left.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
it's
too.
almost like if there's that much more, I feel like they could have finished the story and then continued on. You know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to get that simple, you know, just a Miles Morales Spider-Man movie
Probably
at
not.
all.
If you do, it might be
But
a live one.
That's okay.
I mean,
That's not, well, I mean, that'd probably be cool, but it's
Not what you're
gonna-
asking for.
I mean,
yeah.
that's not what I'm looking
well,
at.
once Miguel reveals the hook of the canon, you know, it's kind of like, wow, okay. And like, I thought that was really cool too, by the way. I was like, all right, well, that's kind of interesting, you know?
Well, I mean, shit, in
And-
a way, this movie
Hold on, Chad.
is doing the thing that we're asking it to do, which is, I mean, theoretically, the third movie here is Miles destroying the Spider-Verse and disconnecting it all into individual silos, which is exactly what we're saying we want the multiverse shit to do. We're sick of the multiverse stuff. Like, I suppose that's what's
Fair
happening
enough.
here, you know, is like he convinces everyone
Yeah.
to turn against Spider-Man 2099 and the shit breaks and there isn't so much tragedy and they all go about their fucking business, you know?
Yeah, I think, I don't know what I was going to say. You started talking over me, and I
Sorry
said,
about
"Hold on, Chad." You just kept going.
Just keep going. It's the delay. I
You
don't do it.
kept
I don't do it
going,
on
and
purpose.
I completely lost what I was going to say. It doesn't matter. The canon thing was the hook, and I was like, "Cool," you know. And it's like, yeah, what more is there? You know, I'm curious because the writing team is super strong. I mean, the first movie
Yeah.
was excellent. We absolutely loved it, and this was, you know, similarly great. I even commented that there were parts of it, like it's certainly in terms of like watching an actual moving, living comic book that was almost better than the first one. So
Yeah.
I missed Spider-Ham.
Yeah, dude.
I do too, man.
Kevin misses
Spider-Man Noir.
Spider-Man Noir.
I missed Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah. Spider-Ham was great.
Spider-Ham was, stole the show.
Yeah, I felt like him and Noir kind of stole the show in the first one.
That's Mulaney, right?
Yeah, John Mulaney was Spider-Ham.
I heard him recently in something. I was like, I recognize that voice. Yeah, Spider-Ham. He's great, man.
Do you float through the air when you smell a pie?
Yeah, man. I don't know. The like parting shot I've got towards the end of the climactic piece was again this nerdy dude making a video, and he was talking about how Miles Morales is the first Spider-Man that doesn't have the traditional Spider-Man arc. You know, he's like He's Spider-Man that's fighting against the Spider-Man shit that that Spider-Man 2099 is bringing to the table. He's like, no, you have to have the tragedy. And he's like, fuck you, no, I don't, you know? So, like, all of the other ones have had their tragic moment generally, and he and Gwen are trying to save their captain fathers, you know? And I like the idea that it's a Spider-Man that doesn't have the traditional Spider-Man story. And so this Spider-Man is kind of breaking the mold. And I think that's one of the most interesting things about the Miles Morales Spider-Man movies, is it's not the same shit necessarily. It's a little bit of a different take on it. So I think they'll go there with that in the third one. So
he kind of has his own set of motivating factors with his uncle and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like he's got his own sort of tragedies. It's just not the same tragedies as the other ones.
Yeah, precisely. And as a result of it being a little bit different, his decisions are different, and his drive is different. I mean, I suppose there's also the interesting reveal there where he runs into himself as Nega Miles, a la Nega Scott from Scott Pilgrim, you know, the Panther version.
Right.
That was cool. I'm interested to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it sets up a lot for sure. I'm still angry at them.
I'm still like, fuck you guys. Fair enough, man.
Things are too precarious in the fucking film and TV
Yeah.
industry right now to end something with a fucking cliffhanger. It's just, you know,
Yeah, Dune got delayed too, man. It's just fucked.
risky fucking move.
Lame sauce.
What? Dune getting delayed is risky?
No, it's just all this shit's getting delayed because of the strike.
Ending a show and or a movie. Yes, the strike for sure, but what I'm more talking about is like shit just gets canceled.
Yeah.
You know, like shit just gets like lost in production hell.
Don't assume
and
you're
never
gonna
gets
get another
finished.
season.
So to end something on a cliffhanger is just like it's a risky move.
Real risky.
Mm.
What was like Tom Holland having to call? He ended up calling some execs like bawling and was like, "Please don't stop making." You know, he wanted to make another movie. Like you just can't fucking count on there being another one.
I mean, for example, Kev, Carnival.
Yeah,
Yes.
Deadwood, Firefly.
Like
Just show that.
Shut him
Yeah,
up.
Deadwood, Firefly.
You're talking about stuff that just ended.
Shit that
Yeah,
seemed like
in
it was
that-
going to keep going, and then they just pull the plug.
Stuff that was supposed to keep going and potentially ended with a cliffhanger and then got canceled.
Mm.
It's happened
Yeah.
a shit ton of times.
Happened a lot, especially recently.
And it's just a slap in the face to the viewership. So I feel like at this point, if you're a writer and you insist on doing a cliffhanger ending, you're kind of being a dick.
It's fair enough.
Yeah. No. That's totally fair, man.
Read the play. Or do what you're saying with the Adult Swim shit. It's like, you know, you can do the movie tie-up, you know, if it's a show or whatever. Like, just tie it up somehow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's on the like money people's end.
That's
you
fair.
know? Like,
Yeah.
They need to fucking follow. Like, they need to allow the thing to be followed up. If it's something that's popular in any respect, like to just cut people off like that is fucking bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
you have to do something to sum it up.
Yeah.
But for the writers to just decide, like, you know what we're gonna do?
It'll be
Let's do a cliffhanger, you know? And it's like, no, you fucking moron. The
Yeah.
hubris, like, seriously, like, you know, like,
The hubris.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's totally fair, man.
your audience, you're great because your audience may never see the end of your story.
Dude, like, To Be Continueds were exciting in the 90s when it was like a Simpsons episode. And now it's just like, nah, man. Nah.
Mm.
I won't begrudge the Simpsons writers for a cliffhanger because they're just like going to do that show forever, apparently. Or did they stop already? I have no idea.
No, they're on
No,
like
they've-
season
They've
642.
said they've said they were gonna end it a couple of times, and they haven't.
But then Kev writes in. He's like, it's my favorite, please. I quote it constantly.
I do.
True story. The other day I was out on a cruise on my fucking stupid electric scooter.
Yeah, dog.
And
Don't,
what should you
don't
know?
shame the
I'm like, I have like a Bluetooth thing for my helmet, so I'm like listening to music while I'm riding it. And what should come on while I'm cruising top speed, but the theme song to The Greatest American Hero.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Ooh.
And
yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yes.
And you found another gear.
fucking
Yes.
yeah. Well, yeah, no, I shifted up into the like 40 mph plus mode for that one.
Rest of my life.
And risked my life, and it was fun.
The red
It was
zone.
indeed walking on air.
I
So that
love it.
inspired me to put together like an 80s TV theme playlist.
Dude, that would be
for
so
riding
good.
around.
Ooh,
And
Wow.
indeed, one of the songs is the Fall Guy theme,
the Fall
which
Guy
was
theme.
sung by Lee Majors.
Oof.
Oh, goddamn, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That is great.
Yeah.
Dropping some lore.
God, that was such a great show. A stunt
Oh.
man that solves crimes in his
Dude.
spare time.
We should do a show about a stunt man. Yeah, I know, but you know, like it's not
But
really.
what's the angle?
A bunch of stunts isn't really
Yeah, what
going to
does he
give us much
do?
of an angle. What? How about if he's also a bounty hunter?
Totally. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I just watched a great bounty hunter episode of King of the Hill. That's a big comfort food show for me, and I'm a big fan of it, dude. And
Fair enough. Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
guys have
great
never
stuff.
seen it,
Yeah, I've
Dude,
definitely
fucking-
seen it. I think Futurama
the
for me
na-
is the King of the Hill equivalent for comfort
Fair
food
enough.
show. But yeah, King of the Hill is
Yeah.
pretty funny, man. It's been a long time, but it had its moment for me for sure.
Yeah, that's great.
did we finish the movie or what? I got
Yeah,
up
we're
for-
finished. I think it's like bits and bobs / a couple of casties like Oscar Isaac, and then we're wrapped.
All right, let's bits and bobs, man.
Shout out Oscar Isaac. I really like him as Miguel.
I really
Oscar
like him
Isaac.
too, but I'm very worried that I'm going to start getting tired of him because they are putting him and Pedro Pascal in like literally
Fucking
everything
everything.
now.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mhm.
you know,
I think he's all right.
is he still safe, Chad?
He's safe.
Okay.
That's fine.
He is in
I
fucking
I
everything.
found myself like just in general annoyed with that character. I
Yeah.
don't think that was his fault.
Yeah.
It was just the writing.
Well, just the fact that he's such a fucking hard-headed douche, like it's intentional.
Like what the fuck is with like the vampire shit and like all like
Is that part of the lore of 2099?
I don't know.
think it
Well,
is,
you
yeah.
tell me, Chad.
I don't know.
I
It's
I
been
don't
a long
remember.
time.
Yeah, Chad,
I
you-
think it is. I just I don't know. I think the thing I liked about it was he pulled the dark lever after trying to take on that life where he destroyed his family, like he destroyed the universe that he had a family in. Like that's some dark shit.
I really
man.
liked that. It is, and I really like that story, man. I was
But
like,
yeah,
wow.
he is a bit one note when it comes to same old shit, and the vampire shit is a bit cliche. It's just I don't know. Maybe it's a good example of like comic books are really fucking stupid most of the time. Like if you look at the old comic books, they're just like the
Sometimes.
stupidest fucking ideas. So I don't know. I'm a little bit more forgiving, I guess, just because you're bound with 80 Spider-Man, you're bound to have some kind of dumb shit in there.
Yeah,
it
I
is
think
one
I'd
note.
seen a couple articles that alluded to like that was like a confection of the movie or something. But
Yeah, to be honest, it's been so long I don't even remember.
I mean, it wouldn't make a difference if it was in the comic book for me. It just seems like an unnecessary
Yeah.
detail.
sure.
Anyways,
Fair enough.
Well, I guess
Fair
the vampire thing is different, but it was like he has spider-like claws and spider-like fangs, you know. So that makes a bit more sense, but it's equally kind of dumb.
right?
Yeah, I get
Okay.
that part. I think I remember that from the very little that I've read of
Yeah.
2099.
I think the issue with Oscar Isaac oversaturation is the Star Wars shit. You know, Poe Dameron is the just like it got him into the stratosphere, but it's just like all of those movies are just fucking trash. Because I feel like he did a really good job as Duke Leto, and Leto's dead. So like, cool,
Yeah.
nice little bit, no big deal. So
He was also great in Annihilation and
yeah, exactly.
Not iRobot. What was that damn movie with the Alicia? Vikander girl?
I was just gonna say it, and it's
Ex
that,
Machina.
Ex Machina. Yeah,
Thank you. The goddamn robot done. Yeah, so all that stuff was really great. Isaac, man.
Miguel, dude. Shout out Miguel. Nice work, Oscar. Dude, shout out to Miles's mom, played by Lieutenant LaGuerta from Dexter, Luna Lauren Velez.
What?
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool little find.
That was Morales' mom?
Yep. Once you see her photo and you're like, oh yeah, Dexter, and then hear her voice, it's just like
Wow.
it clicks.
Okay. Yeah, that is interesting, man. Because I really liked Dexter, and I liked LaGuardia as well. Wasn't she the lieutenant or the captain? Or?
The LT, yeah.
Right.
Did you guys pick up on the fact that Rachel Dratch was Mrs. Weber?
I
No,
did
which
not.
one was
I read
Mrs.
it,
Weber?
though.
Is that the guidance counselor?
The guidance counselor.
Yeah.
She was great, dude.
Yeah. I was like, I fucking know that voice. And then I was like,
yeah,
it's
I
Rachel
was the same.
Dratch.
I didn't
And
put two and two together.
I like paused the movie to do like the X-ray
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
on Amazon. And I was like, yes, I knew it.
Yeah, totally.
I love those moments, Ben.
Yeah.
And I think she is just
So good.
she's one of those actors that I talk about. I've talked about quite a few on this show that is just so talented, man, and just what the fuck, underutilized in the most
Yeah.
gross manner, dude. I've never seen anything like it, especially with her, man. God, she is so good at playing just the most bizarre little characters, man. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at like the Debbie Downer shit, and then like she played a super weird character in Click, and like this. I'm like, she was so fucking good as the guidance counselor, man. Wow.
Yeah, that was a great little bit.
Yeah, really, really liked it a
The
lot.
Lovers.
And the Lovers, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Lovers, totally. The scalding waters of the hot tub. Yeah, yeah, dude, really good.
Yes.
So yeah, shout out to Rachel Dratch.
J. Jonah
Okay,
Jameson
my-
has a bunch of multiversal little bits
Yep.
in here. J.K. Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very minor, but I do love me some J.K. Simmons. Like didn't he voice the Lego
Oh, yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson? I think.
That was part of it. Yep.
Yeah,
He did multiple.
yeah. There was a few of them.
J. Jonah's in there.
I love how that's become
Which
like
is
such
good.
a key piece of the multiverse. J.K. Simmons, I fucking love that guy.
Totally, man. My God,
He's
he
got
played
a,
Commissioner Gordon in Batman or Justice League. He was Commissioner Gordon, and in
He
Batman
voices-
versus Superman.
He voices a character in the last couple seasons of Venture Brothers and in the movie.
Ooh,
Ah, there you go.
And so does
Um,
Clancy Brown.
I love me some Clancy Brown,
Ooh.
dude.
Yeah.
totally.
The imagery of J. Jonah on the Googs shows me that really delightful stash. I'm hoping that there was a Lego mustache in here, and if so, minuscule steak and mustaches. Shout out to the mustache of J. Jonah Jameson.
Well, I was going to sort of do this bit and Bob and pose it as a question.
Yes.
What was the best thing about this movie? What was the best part of this movie?
Oof. Like best scene or what? What do you mean?
No, it's not. It's not that kind. It's more of a funnier answer, man. So like,
Oh, you have an answer
the
in mind.
best. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
This is my bit and or Bob.
Gotcha,
is that
gotcha. I thought you were asking. So
best- I was
your
doing.
answer.
I was doing both to see if you could figure it out. But
yeah.
I'll just say it. So the best part about this movie is when he
It's
goes
the opening of the
at
toy.
the beginning. He dude, shut up. Jesus
You are asking. I'm
Christ,
trying to guess
man.
before you say it.
When he's no, that's not it. Is it the beginning of the movie? He goes, okay, let's do this again, and he starts going through a very quick. Here's how I turned into Spider-Man thing that we've all seen ad nauseum.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and it's so quick, dude. I missed it the first time, and I saw it tonight when I watched it again. And he goes, and this happened, and I made my own suit. And my mustache grew in.
Oh
and then you
my
see
God,
the
yes.
giant
Yeah,
word
yes.
slowly flash across the
Mustache.
screen. And the voice is mustache.
Dude, I love that you said that because I
like,
literally
that is the
screenshotted that
best part
for
of the
the
movie.
art for the show. Like that will be the art. I think we're already on the same
sweet.
page. I love it.
I like
Nice.
that.
Yeah, dude, good call. I'm so glad you brought that up.
That
Yes,
was
thank
the
you
best
for
part
that,
of
but I'd forgotten about it until you did.
right? That was the best part of the whole
He has
movie.
like
I was
7
like,
hairs
that is
sticking out of his mask.
fantastic.
Oh my God, that was great.
Yeah, good shit, man.
I
Yeah.
love it. That
Just
was
that they took that 2 seconds to accentuate mustaches in that manner was just fucking great.
without a doubt, that was the best part of the movie. I love it. Perfect. I did enjoy that little scene where Gwen's in his bedroom and he's like trying to put all of the nerdy dumb shit away, and she's like, "Oh, I had one of these toys." He's like, "It's actually a collectible." And she opens it, and he's like, "Oh, that's okay. Okay. It's so nerdy. There's a lot of delightful little bits like that.
Yeah.
Bit of Mahershala Ali as Uncle Aaron in the end there.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I did dig
That was great.
the kind of dark lever stuff there with he lost his dad and then therefore turned into the baddie. That was cool. Just the like him giving his uncle a hug and then his uncle's like, "What the fuck, man? You know, you're supposed to be hard
Yeah.
and bad." Kev's looking at mustaches.
No, I'm trying to find that damn mustache thing, man.
The scene,
Yeah, I can't remember where it is in the beginning. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
it's in the beginning.
Really, thank you.
You're welcome.
Confirmed, it's in the beginning.
Any other bitsies, bobsies, boobsies?
No, I do not have any other bits and or bobs.
Mustache.
Yeah, I believe I probably mentioned most of that stuff sprinkled throughout.
What about Nuggets deaths ratings? Are we good? Ready to move into that?
Nuggets. Yeah, there are 2 nuggets. They've fallen out of my ears.
I have one nugget.
What's your nugget?
No, you go first.
I do remember one nugget. Very, very interesting and convoluted nugget where I guess the creator of the Miles Morales Spider-Man took inspiration from Donald Glover wearing a Spider-Man shirt in, I think, Community, and originally envisioned Miles Morales as Donald Glover. They were going to make a live action, and Donald Glover was pushing to be Miles Morales. And then the scene here where he plays the baddie is kind of a shout out to that, which is I thought was interesting. I never realized that he was
Interesting.
kind of the inspiration for Miles Morales, which is kind of cool.
Wait, I thought Donald Glover was the guy that played Lando in Solo that we loved.
He is, yeah.
No?
Yes.
Yeah.
The same.
That's the same guy?
Yeah.
Oh, got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, and he plays it's not Panther. What's the bad guy in this one called? I can't remember.
Prowler?
Prowler, thank you.
And what's it? Isn't he a rapper named Babyface Al Capone or something weird like that?
No, fuck, what's his name? He's got some great shit, dude.
Some- Kid Capone or something about Al Capone. Something about mobsters.
Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
That's it, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, Childish Gambino, like he's some really good fucking music, man. His stuff is really good.
Groovy.
He's got some really nerdy lyrics that just are delightful. Delightful
He
death.
alone makes me want to watch Solo again, like right now.
He's got a movie coming out now.
About
They
Lando.
changed the Lando show into a Lando movie, it seems.
What? Wow.
And if it's anything like Yakisoba, they'll fuck it up.
Yaki Soba.
Yakisoba.
Oh, what
Yeah,
was the other
right
nug?
on, dude.
There was another nug.
I hope not, because if he has anything to do with it, I'm sure he won't. He'll do his best to not let that happen.
I hope not too.
It's got to have some swagger and lots of Colt 45. You know what I'm talking about. Sorry.
I'll go, mate.
No.
Biggest animation production ever, I guess. 1,000 people worked on it, which is kind of cool.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, my nugget was that the Lego scenes.
Oh, that was the other nugget. Cool. All right, good. Thank you.
All right, so and thanks for not ruining it. The Lego scenes were done by this 14-year-old Canadian kid who started doing recreations of the teaser trailers for the movie when those started coming out. And the producers were so impressed by his work that they tracked him down and had him do those Lego scenes for the movie.
How fucking
Like,
cool is that, hey?
Wow. That just blew me away.
That would
That's a
totally like
great-
make that kid's life, dude. Like, it's so cool.
Right?
I love that they're doing that now. Like they did the same thing with the fan video of Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker. So like some kid composited Sebastian Stan into the season 2 finale of Mando, and it was such good compositing. It was like a 20-something-year-old, you know, that they hired him, and he works at Lucasfilm now. Like I just love that you can get picked up from shit you put out, like that 14-year-old kid. It's so cool.
Sure. Absolutely.
So cool, dude.
So wait, Sebastian Stan as who and
Luke.
what?
Luke Skywalker.
Everyone was like, dude, you should just recast Luke. You don't need to do it digi. Just get Sebastian Stan to do it. And then I think he composited him on, or he did a better version of Mark Hamill's youngification. And as a result, he got a jobby job. I'll be totally down for a Sebastian Stan recast, though.
I would
Yeah.
too, man. I really liked him. He was great.
It's been fucking 50, 60, whatever years. Like, just fucking recast the shit. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, Mark Hamill's not going to give a shit.
No, he's like fucking Joe supportive.
Joe supportive, folks.
I love that.
I thought I heard some rumblings that might actually be a thing.
Sorry, what'd you say, Benny? What might be a thing?
I feel like I've actually heard some rumblings like that might actually.
I hope
be a
so.
thing.
I hope so. I mean, they kept all that Thrawn shit under wraps, so like I presume they're just keeping it under wraps if it's true. Like, if you're gonna bring any Leia or Luke or Han or any of them, it should just be recast, man. It just
At this point, yes.
stop fucking around. The youngification shit is just, it doesn't work for me at all.
Yeah.
If it's for like a 2-second scene, fine. If it's gonna be like for a bunch of shit, like, come on, dude, just give somebody else a chance.
Yeah, really. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
No more nuggets on my end. You got any more nuggulations?
No, we're done with all that bullshit.
All right, rating or death, sorry.
Deaths. We only had one death.
No, I had one. I did a delightful a minute ago.
Oh, all right. Well, 2 delightful deaths. One from Ben, one from you.
Mm-hmm. I've seen some of the, speaking of like younglings getting all like about movies, is I've seen a bunch of different younglings say that this is like the best movie ever made, which I just think is interesting.
The best movie ever made?
Yeah. People were like, this is my favorite movie of all time, you know? This is like some 20-year-old kid. And it's like, I'm not going to shit on it. I just think it's interesting that it's getting that level of attention from some people.
Yeah, I didn't think, I mean, like, I remember when the first one came out, I was like, this is one of the best,
Sure.
like, superhero movies I've ever seen.
Sure.
I know I said something like that.
Yeah,
I get
and that's true. The first one. This one I think is interesting that they're saying it about this one. It just makes me want to rewatch it, you know, when it's not forced and can be enjoyed. I think it probably does have rewatchability.
Sure.
For sure. Like I said, I'm looking forward to watching it before, around
in prep
when
for the next one.
conclusion comes out, you know.
Yeah, I think you're bang on
in
there.
preparation.
Yeah. I kind of intentionally didn't watch the first one again because I wanted to kind of, you know, check this one out on its own merits, but I definitely agree that I'll watch the other ones in prep for the release of the third.
Yeah.
In 5 years when it comes out. If it comes out. Fucking cliffhangers. Ratings? I don't think I actually have this. What is the Spider-Verse?
I'll go with a 8.96. This was an excellent movie with not a lot of flaws. I should have just probably done it up higher than that, but I'll leave it where it is.
There you go.
It was great, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I actually can't wait to watch it again, so I can pick up more little nuggy wuggies.
Word.
Nice. Nuggy wuggies. Yes, we do.
Benny, that's right up there with Joe supportive.
That was good, dude. I like that. Is
Seriously,
that from something?
No.
Yeah, like my youth. Dude, everything
Really?
was Joe something, or didn't you do that too,
like,
man?
Right, Joe something.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
We would do Joey Bag of Donuts.
No, like, you know, oh yeah, that guy's like Joe douchebag, you know, or this
Okay.
guy's like, you know,
Right.
Joe model airplanes, or you know, what, anything really. It was
Joe
Joe
model
something. No, really, like if you had a kid,
Totally.
you know what I mean? Like if you Chad, if you were into model airplanes, and Benny and I were having a conversation about it, I was like, you know, that guy Chad, he's like Joe model airplanes. Like that would be it right there.
Okay. I love it.
Yes.
I love your fascination with
I just, yeah. It was
Yes.
our foreign Connecticut upbringing.
But Joe supportive specifically is not a thing. But yeah,
No,
you
but I
are
love
right,
it.
Kev,
It was-
definitely.
But it fucking is now, dude.
It is
it
now.
was the perfect
It is
thing.
now, man. Holy shit! All right, next,
I had-
next Raider.
I had Spider-Verse, the first one of these movies, at a 5.6. It turns out it's right in line with the new D&D movie and the Whale Star Trek movie. I think this is just 1 point lower at a 5.5, and it's in company with Dragnet and Infinity War, which probably needs to go down because MCU sucks. So yeah, 5.5.
Sure.
Nice.
Stallone's 5.
Well done.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Speaking of Stallone's 5s, dude, X's album's great. What do you reckon, Benny?
Yeah. Seriously, X's album is terrific. I'm very, as often happens, pretty close to Kev. I'm going with like an 8 7/8 on this one.
7/8.
There you go. Nice.
I'd give it a
5 and
9,
a
but I'm
stink.
unfairly taking away an 8th because I'm pissed off that they did a cliffhanger.
Nah, that's worthy of an 8th too. It's way more than a
Yeah, it is.
16th, dude. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'd even-
Deserves
yeah.
a good.
I'd even probably go at 8 and 13s, but whatever. 7/8 sounds good too.
You know, I'm just feeling like I don't want to break things down to 16th this time.
Fair enough, dude. I fucking
We'll
love
make the 8th fit.
it.
We'll fucking knock her in there with a fucking persuader. Fuck it.
Jam it the fuck in there.
I like it.
Give me my waffle hammer. I'll get that fucking thing sorted out.
Yeah, baby.
All right. That's it.
Yay.
Benny, I feel like you being 2-for out for a couple, I would like for you to choose the next movie if you've got something on your mind, if you're open to that.
Yeah,
idea.
do that, man.
Pick one, dude.
Well, I brought it up in chat the other day, and it's not something that's on any list, but funnily enough, watching the Venture Brothers movie, there's like a side character that's clearly based on the character Darkman.
Ooh, yeah.
And, Chrissy Snaps and I were talking, like, that just seems like it would be a really good sort of off the beaten path
I used to love that movie.
old action movie for us to cover. So I'm going to go with
Let's
it. Fuck
do
it. Let's
that.
do Darkman.
Let's do Darkman.
I
dude.
feel like
Liam
there's something
Neeson.
else that like I've been wanting to do that I've been neglecting, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. So
Sure.
we'll just go with
Yeah,
that.
Darkman.
That's all right, man.
Get another chance.
Yeah, there's yeah, exactly. So yeah, all right. Well, there you have it, folks. Next week, Darkman, starring Qui-Gon Jinn. And thanks for tuning in for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And that's going to be it for the three of us here in Valverde. Thanks so much for tuning in as always, folks. And we'll see you on another time.
So yeah.
Later.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. If you'd like to check out the show notes for this episode, you can do so in your podcast app of choice or at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/224. As always, folks, we greatly appreciate you supporting this great show here and in all the ways you do it. And for those of you who are not in the know, here's how you can do it. You can support us by leaving us a rating on the various different podcast mediums. You can also support us directly on Patreon, patreon.com/EBD podcast. You can also tell a friend to check out the show. Word of mouth is incredibly powerful in spreading and growing the show. And last but not least, folks, follow us on social media. On Instagram, we use the handle @EBD Podcast. Once again, thanks for joining us for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and we'll see you next week for Darkman. So long for now, folks.
One for C-Lab, 2 for Torhigo, 3 for Wolverine to round out the trio in this episode. Everybody dies.
Beady, beady, beady. Stop into it.
You gotta keep them separated.
Watching haters wonder why Gambino got the game. Half-time thicky, all she wanna do is bang. Got her hair done, French braids, now she ASAP. Bino so insensitive, she asking why you say that. I'm chillin', real nigga feelin'. Rich kid asshole, paint me as a villain. Still spittin' that cash flow, DJ Khaled. I got penthouse on both coasts, PH balance. Real nigga, I rep those. Why though? Cause I said so. Get deep in that Pepto. I got 5 on it like Benfos. I got more tail than that Petco. You faker than some sweet and low. Yeah, you got some silverware, but really, are you eating though? Are you eating though? Nigga, are you eating though? Breakfast, lunch, and dinners for beginners. You ain't eating no. Never catching cases why they faces look so emo. Watch a hater hate me, wanna play me like a piano. My architect, no Japanese. Yo, girl, she jocking these. No hands like soccer teams. Y'all fuck boys like Socrates. You niggas ain't copping these. Niggas ain't looking like me. Nah, I ain't checking ID. But I bounce them with no problem. Tell them problem. I'm winning. Yeah, I'm winning. Why? I'm winning. Yeah, I'm winning. Why? I'm winning. Yeah, I'm winning. Why? Rich kid asshole. Paint me as a villain. Why?
Don't be mad cause I'm doing me better than you doing you. Don't be mad cause I'm doing me better than you doing you. Don't be mad cause I'm doing me better than you doing you. Better than you doing you. Fuck you, what you doing?
Different color my passport. Instagram my stack load. Hashtag my day wear. And your girl drank my daycare. And I'm born rich, life ain't fair. Silver spoon, cool ho. Ain't nobody sicker in my Fisker room ho. Ain't nobody. Fiskers don't make noise when they start up, just so you know. Top of the holy totem. Rich forever, a million was not the quota. My father owned half the MoMA and did it with no diploma. Year off, got no rules. Tripping off of them toadstools. More green than my Whole Foods, and I'm too fly. Jeff Goldblum got a glass house in the Palisades. That AKA White Hood. Okay, KK. Furniture custom, you shop at IKEA. So Maserati, you whipping the Kia. Spending this money is longer than near. Live like a Coppola, me and Sophia. Waking up broke, man, wouldn't wanna be a friends with the dope man. Help a nigga re-up. Bring a girlfriend, man, trouble when I see her. I'm on a pier. Oh, I got my cool on. Tell them, man. I'm winning, so they had to dump the Gatorade. And I don't give a fuck about my family name.
Why? Don't be mad cause I'm doing me better than you doing you. Don't be mad cause I'm doing me better than you doing you. Don't be mad cause I'm doing me better than you doing you. Better than